Hope can be one of two things. It's a great biblical word. Hope can be wishful thinking. I hope the Astros make it to the World Series. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. I hope that we get to do this. It could just be wishful thinking. There's a hope like that. But the biblical word of it is a confident expectation, right? See the difference? Hope that is a confident expectation. These guys were more of the hope that was wishful thinking. Okay? Let me draw the parallel. They hoped that he was going to be the one that would redeem Israel, that Jesus was going to take over, get rid of all these Romans, and everything was going to be fine. So Siena, Cyprus, downtown, Loop, listen, online, listen. But they didn't trust that Jesus was the Messiah. You see the difference? Here's the deal. They had to, instead, what the right verse would have been, this happened, he was crucified, and we had believed that he was the Messiah. We had placed all our faith, all of our trust in Jesus as the Messiah. They said, we hoped, and it didn't turn out, so we're heading home from Jerusalem. I want to encourage you in this discouraging year, not to just hope things would be better, but to believe, but to trust, but to walk in faith, not to just hope your business that God will provide for you, but to believe and to trust that God will provide for your every need. Open eyes in trusting lives, that God would do that in us in a huge way. And it is difficult on a one-star year. Kelly and I were with some people from our church, and we were talking, and one of the people in the group, as we were talking, this person had such hope, had such belief, I should say, that God was going to do some great things through COVID-19 and through coronavirus. And it was awesome. It was inspirational for me and for Kelly. And so as this person began to talk, they said, you know what? God's going to do something. God's going to build our church back in a different way. God's going to do some great things. God's going to bring people to Christ. God's going to bring encouragement to our souls. God's going to move in our country. God's going to move in a great way. And Kelly and I are standing there listening to this person talk, and we're like, yeah, and in my heart, Kelly's always got more faith than me, but in my heart, I'm like, I hope so. I was kind of in the wishful thinking section there at that moment. So I just said to the person, I hope so. I hope so. And then when I got to this verse of scripture, I was really like, that was my heart in that moment. It's kind of a little bit discouraged, really, of things. And instead, there's a difference. When we say, I believe God's going to provide for us. I believe God's going to redeem and put back your marriage. I believe that God's going to take care of you in your singlehood. I believe that God's going to give you wisdom in your parents. I believe, students, that this journey you've been on is going to form you in a greater way in some way. I believe that the disappointments that we have, God's going to use for His great glory. I believe that the suffering of this present world is not worthy to be compared to what awaits. Do you see the difference in wishful thinking and a hope that your faith is not wishful thinking? I just hope, because there's a lot of things to be discouraged about. And I sure can, I hope people come back to church. I hope this isn't the end of society as we know it. I hope that God will provide for me. I believe that the gates of hell will not prevail against His church. I trust that God will provide. Yeah, let's cheer. I trust that God will provide. I believe that this will be even something good in my kids' lives. I believe that God can do His work. That's the difference in wishful thinking of hope, where they were earlier, and deep belief when they see the nail-scarred hands. Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.